Welcome to Viben Gold, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you.
Good morning, soul shiners. It is Sunday and we are gathering. And there is a lot of energy moving today. So let us just drop in and see what is here for us today. All right, start with breath. Slow your breathing down as you arrive in the space, knowing you have carved out an hour just for you. Just for you. What a gift, right? What a gift that you can take time and just be still and feel your soul and your heart and your body all come into one space at the same moment. Yeah, so notice your breath as you do the exhale. Do it long and slow and out through your mouth. And feel yourself coming down and in. Right, so as we pull our attention, our energy into this moment, this body, this phone call, you can use the breath to align all of you here. Right, so as you do the long, slow exhale, it's like an elevator. You can just feel your energy sliding down into your body. So let's go ahead and do a couple of those together. Go ahead and breathe in. And then the long, slow exhale. Breathe in and out. Yeah, and what you'll notice is with all of us doing that, there's a settling, as everybody arrives and claims this space for themselves. There's a settling of all of us coming in together that starts to vibrationally match, right? One among the other. Yeah, let's do one more. So breathe in and out. Good. Good. All right, and then turn up the magnet in the center of your body. Just imagine you can see a magnet like you would see in the cartoon characters, right? They've got that powerful, big U-shaped magnet. And you're just going to turn it on and allow the magnet to start vibrating, pulling back towards you. All of the places where you have deposited little pieces of yourself, right? And we don't do this in a way to disperse our energy or to knowingly hand our power over or leave it with other people. It's just how we navigate life. We go and see people and talk to people and engage with activities, and our attention stays with that thing or person, and we go on to the next thing. And the busier our lives get, the more of us we leave in different places because things aren't perhaps complete, or we want to make sure that it stays with momentum, with action. We want the person to feel supported and held and loved. And so we're just leaving traces of ourselves all over. And what serves, right, when you claim an hour for yourself, what serves before anything else is to pull all of you back in so that 100% of you can be here. Or if that's too intense, 80% of you can be here, so that you can feel who you are, what your knowing is, what your truth is, louder than anybody else's. right? That's the point of meditation, is coming into stillness so you can tune into you. So imagine in this moment you can just turn the magnet up and it's your magnet, right? Even though we're all doing it as a community, it's your individual magnet pulling your energy back into your body and into this moment. So you don't even have to feel it, right? Just set the intention that it's happening and allow it to occur. I was helping my daughter. She was, and this is just going to happen while I'm talking, so just feel your energy coming back. My daughter was frustrated before she went to work on Friday morning, and right before she was about to walk out the door, she came in. She's like, just get my energy back in my body, Mom. Help me out. And so I was putting cedar oil on her feet and just sort of tapping her feet and going, it's okay. Like, pull all of your energy down out of your mind and down into your feet. And I could feel it moving clear as day, like, right? Things are definitely shifting, and it took 2-3 minutes. She was getting ready to leave, and she's like, I didn't feel a thing. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you didn't feel it. I could see it. I could sense it shifting in you. So I offer that to you right now. Even if it doesn't feel like something is actually happening, you are the creator of what goes on in your energy space. So if you set the intention that this is something that you want to create a shift in, the energy, your life force, is going to follow that clear intention. So if it feels in alignment, set the intention that you are going to be 100% present for yourself for this next hour on this call. And then just allow your energy to vibrate back into your body and settle into a space that feels good. Right? So if it feels intense in your chest right now, send the energy down to your feet. If you notice that your shoulders are hunching or you're scrunching up your chest, right? Loosen your muscles, stretch your shoulders back, and allow the energy to flow down your arms to your fingertips, down your back to your root, to where you're sitting. Right? Just let it redistribute and allow your system to settle into this moment. Yep, and then do one more call from your magnet. One more call. My energy, my attention, fully here. Because that most serves me, right? It most serves you. Yep, and use your breath. And when I say that, what I mean is exhale out any sort of stuck or heavy energy, right? If your chest is like, ugh, take a big breath and exhale. Loosen up the space. Create more room inside of your body. And then imagine you can feel magnets at the bottoms of your feet pulling your attention, your energy all the way down into your body. So it's not tight at the top or busy in your head. But the energy slides down to your feet and you fill up with you. Good. Good, and then relax. Relax the muscles, relax your breath, relax your body, right? What you're doing is actually what is natural, right, for a human and a soul. It's what babies do. They're just fully present. They're just aligned, soul and body in one place. They're not worrying about what's going to happen or what's going to be done. They're just present, right? So this is actually your natural state. Good, and then we're going to go down and do some grounding into the earth. Before we do that, I want to share something that I have been seeing in my meditation time over the last couple of days that is so cool. I was sitting in my meditation on Saturday morning, I was looking at the chakras. You know how you have these energy centers in your physical body. So you have one at the root, and then below the belly button, and then above the belly button in your heart and your throat and your forehead, which is your third eye, and then above your head at your crown. And so there's these 7 chakras. And really, I've heard that there's an 8th, and I don't even know how many more beyond that, but most people talk about the 7. And I was feeling when I ground, I go down into the earth, right? I grow roots, and the roots, as I go deeper, it gets clearer energetically. It gets quieter and lighter as I go down, just as what happens with my chakras in my physical body above the earth when I go up. And so I was just playing with, what if we flip the chakras so that there are, let's call them earth chakras, right? Like as you go down into the earth with your roots, there's a first chakra that clears all of your root security issues. As you go deeper, there's a second and a third, and so on, and you can go all the way down to 7 or more. And so as I was playing with that, I could feel how the matches to the body chakras have a clearing that happens when I go into the earth and I root in and clear earth chakras going down. So it's almost like a mirror reflection, right? You have these earth chakras above the surface of the earth, and then you flip it and you go down, almost like you're flipping your body image upside down. And then you have these clearings of the chakras going into the earth. And so I play in miles. I like to have deep rooting for the work that I do. And so each time I drop an increment, I drop a mile increment. But I feel like you could play with this with 10 feet, right? You could do 1 feet down, 2 feet down, all the way to 7 feet down. Or you could do tens, or you could do hundreds, right? 100 feet down, 200, 300. Or you could do thousands or miles. So what I would like to play with today, because it was so exciting to me, I wanted to share it with you. What I would like us to play with is you decide the increment. So in this moment, decide if you want to do 1 foot, 10 feet, 100 feet, 1,000, or a mile. It makes no difference. Go ahead and just pick which one sounds right. All right, and then from the bottoms of your feet, I want you to have the first step down in whatever increment you chose. So if it's 1 feet, have the roots from the bottoms of your feet go 1 feet down into the dirt underneath this building that you're in, or if you're sitting outside, under the surface of the earth, 1 increment down, and set the intention as you are connecting in that way, any match to your physical body chakra is going to be cleared by releasing it into the earth. So the first chakra, the first increment as you grow roots, is about security and safety, right? My physical body is safe. My home is safe. I live in a safe world. So anything that is not aligning with that, imagine your feet can just release the match through the roots into that first increment into the earth. And you can use your breath, right? Like breathe it down through your feet and into the earth through that first increment of the roots. Good. And then just allow it to keep releasing as we're doing this. Go ahead and step out and down with the roots. So imagine they can go 1 increment out in all directions. So if you did a foot, it'd be 1 foot into the earth, and then they're going out 1 feet, all directions. The roots are spreading underneath your body. And then we're going to go down to the second increment. So you're going to go 2 feet down, or 20 feet down, or 200 feet down, right? Your second increment of roots down into the earth. And as you do that, release any matches in your second chakra, right? So the second chakra is receiving pleasure, relationships, right? Connection. So imagine any places where you feel like you're not able to receive, or you have blocks to receiving, or you have conflict in your relationships, right? Or you just can't feel happy and allow pleasure to settle into your body. My one friend uses the word bliss all the time, which I love, right? Any blocks you have to bliss. Imagine you can use your breath, send it down to your feet, and then drop all of that resistance or block down through the roots to the second increment down into the earth. Yeah, I'm hoping this is making sense to you as we're doing it. So the first little step root chakra energy that's being blocked, releasing into the earth. The second increment or step, second chakra, releasing any blocks down into the earth. Right? So you as a physical and the earth as a receiver, as a recycler, are partnering. Right? You're partnering to co-create something that is better for the world, for the planet, which is you, clearer than you were before. All right, have the roots go 2 increments out in all directions from underneath your body. And then we're going to drop the roots down, so 3 down. So if you're doing 3 feet, the roots go 3 feet into the earth. If you're doing increments of 10, 30 feet into the earth. 300 feet, 3,000 feet, 3 miles, whatever you're doing. 3rd increment down. Yeah, relax your body. It's okay. You don't have to hold so tight. Yep. And then anything in your 3rd chakra that feels blocked or has resistance, you can just choose to send that down through the roots into the earth. So the 3rd chakra is about I am, right? I am here in this world. I belong here in this world. I have gifts to bring to this world that are unique to me. I choose to be here and to create. Right? So anything that is in resistance to that or blocking that, you're just going to breathe it down to the roots, through your feet, 3 increments down into the earth, and then just let that dissolve. The earth will pull that from your roots and recycle that negative energy or those blocks. All right, and then spread them out 3 feet, 30 feet, 3,000 feet, out in all directions. All right, and then the roots go down 4 feet, 40 feet. All right, you feel them going down into the 4th step, and now it's the heart. Right, so for me, when I do this, it's like the step between the 3rd and the 4th is where my whole body just goes, ah. Right? Like there's this sigh of peace, because I operate so much from my heart space that when I enter into the heart, for me, it's like melting, right? It's so comfortable. It's not the case for everyone, so just notice for you as we go into this 4th step down into the earth, and you're partnering with the earth, what comes up in your physical heart space, right? So there may be some tenderness or some contraction or some holding on to stories, right? You don't have to release any of it, but if you want to, you can move some of those blocks, the resistance, by breathing and imagining that that can go down to your feet through your physical body. And then the feet release into the roots 4 increments down into the earth. Anything that's ready to move in this moment. Yeah, this is sometimes a tough one, right? Like we don't want to let go of the stories that we've been hurt. It's okay. This is a new way of looking at chakra work, at partnering with the earth. So you don't have to change anything in this moment, but my invitation to you would be to come back to this meditation again and again, or this idea, this visual, and just see if there are pieces that are ready to move that can allow your heart to open more, right, to feel safe. So the heart chakra, it seems obvious, but I'll repeat it just in case. So the heart chakra is about I am love. I am love. Right? I am one with love. I am connected to all through love. I am here to be love, give love, receive love, share love. So anything in resistance to that, you can move out or you can wait until it feels right. Good. Keep your feet open. Wiggle your toes if they feel like they're getting a little like locked up or numb. Stomp your feet. All right, and then we go to the 5th chakra. So underneath the earth, you want to visualize the roots that are 4 increments down, going sideways and stretching down into the earth. So they're going 5 down now. They're 4 wide, and then they go 5 down to 5 feet, 50 feet, 500 feet, 5 miles. Right, 5 down. And you might feel this as a vibration through your legs. It'll kind of ripple up energetically through your legs, especially if you're releasing a lot, right? You might get tremors or like little shakes. It's just energy moving. It's the same thing as a yawn or tears. It's just energy. But as you go 5 down, you're matching the chakra of the throat, right? The 5th chakra is the throat. So from above the heart to right below your nose, right? That whole area of the throat, the shoulders. And so this chakra says, I take what I know as my gift in this world. I take the knowing of the 3rd chakra. I match it with the heart, with the love of the heart chakra. And I activate my expression in this world through the throat. I bring out into humanity what my gifts are to share with the world. I activate my gift through my voice. Yeah, ouch, ooh, ah, right? Like, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. So there may be quite a few blocks in your throat chakra. You could cough or yawn or burp and move them out, right, which is awesome. You could also choose to just send any blocks that are ready to move in this moment down through your body all the way to your feet. Right, use your breath and send them through the roots down into the earth. 5 steps down. 5 steps down, so you can visualize and the energy will follow, right? You can just picture your blocks, your stuck places, give them a color, a musical note, a vibration, a visual, whatever works, all the way down 5 steps into the earth. And then just watch them go out and dissolve down into the earth. Good. Good, you're getting the hang of it. All right, and then 5 out. So 5 steps out, 5 feet, 50 feet, whatever you're doing. Go out in all directions from underneath your body. And then we're sending the 6th increment down. Right, so 6 down into the earth. Yep, and then as we match that with the chakra, this is from below the nose to about the top of your forehead, right? So the whole like nose, eyes, forehead area, called the 3rd eye chakra. This is about your knowing, your personal ability to see and track and forecast or understand what is happening energetically and spiritually around you. So a lot of people talk about the 3rd eye activation, right? When it's almost like a lighthouse suddenly turns on the light and then it starts sending out its beam, looking into the darkness to see what it can see and to provide a way for the boats to make their way to shore. The 3rd eye is the same, right? Some people live in the 3rd eye and they are psychic or knowers and seers. And so their gift, their specialty is to translate that for the world, to share what they see with the world. Some people are just waking up, and so they just see what's right in front of them for their lives, right? It's all perfect. It's all perfect. And sometimes it's also a little scary, right? If I open this 3rd eye, what if I see stuff I don't want to see? What if I feel the responsibility to tell people things that maybe they don't want to hear, and then they get upset or reject what I'm telling them? Yeah, it's a tender place. So you don't have to shift anything in this moment, but what I would love for you to feel is the connection between the 6th chakra in your physical body and then the roots go all the way down. If you have blocks you want to move, you can send them down through your body in this moment to the roots in your feet. Use your breath and shoot it 6 increments down into the earth. And even if you don't want to move anything, just feel the connection right now between above the surface of the earth and your physical body, below the surface of the earth, 6 increments down. So when you perhaps feel alone or afraid of what you might see, just visualize there's this reflection underneath the surface of the earth that matches, that holds space for you, that clears for you any resistance to what you're seeing. So you're not really looking at it by yourself. You're fully supported by the earth in that knowing. Yeah, so any blocks you want to move, just send it down through your feet, out into the earth. And then visualize this 6th increment going out in all directions from underneath your body. So you have this really wide web underneath you, this network underneath you of support. And then we're going to go 7 increments down. So you're doing the 7th one down, 7 feet, 70 feet, 700, 7,000, or 7 miles. Roots going down into the earth. Yeah, and then you can actually have those go wide at the same time. So down and wide in all directions. Right? When I do 7 miles down, 7 times 7, that's 50-mile radius, right, that goes out underneath my physical body. That is some pretty cool foundational support for the work that I do above the surface of the earth, right? If you visualize a tree with roots that are 49 miles wide, is a pretty cool tree. Yeah. So the 7th chakra is above the forehead, the hairline, maybe just a couple inches above the hairline, right in the center of your head. It's that soft spot, right, that people talk about. The crown chakra is your direct connection to source, right? Your direct connection to the universe, to above, around. It's your connection to love, right? So some of us cut that off and decide that we're just here alone doing this human walk, and it sucks and it's hard and there's no one there to support us, right? And so in this moment, what you can feel is every human soul has to come with the connection to source, or you wouldn't have breath, you wouldn't have life, right? There is one original source that creates life force. Or how would you be here? So I can't force a knowing of that. But what you can play with now or at any point in your own meditation time is, if there are blocks or screens or resistance that you have that stops the flow of that energy from source to you, what if you just play with sending those down through your body, just like you did with every other chakra, to your feet, and then down through the roots, 7 miles down, because it's a mirror reflection in the earth. 7 miles down, and you can just hand those blocks over to the earth, to this planet that supports human life. Right? It's so easy to believe in the earth because it's so physical and tangible and right under our feet, and we pick up rocks and we stand in salt ocean water and we breathe air, and it's so physical. But if that exists under, in my opinion, how could this also not exist above? Right? So I just share it as a possibility for you to explore for yourself. But you can breathe, if you want, any resistance down 7 increments under the earth, and just surrender that over. Yeah, and why would you want to do that, right? Why would you want to open your channel to Source? That's actually the perfect entry into connecting to Source, which is always my third step in any meditation, right? You center your own energy or attention. You ground and connect in with the earth underneath, and then you open your connection to Source. I use above as a visual, but really it's in, around, above, all around you. Yeah, why would you? Why would you connect to Source? I'll just share my opinion, right, my belief, and then perhaps that's a question you can explore on your own. For me, Source is life force, right? Source is energy, breath, consciousness, and love. Love. So why would I choose to come have this human walk, this human adventure that is so difficult at times and so painful, unless there was some bigger picture that connected it to more love, right? So for me, connecting to Source in meditation, hooking into this energy of one consciousness or love, it reminds me to step out of my story. It reminds me that there's a bigger purpose, and from there my heart opens. You know, when I'm sitting in my story, it's hard to remember love because my story feels real. And when I connect into Source, it's like the story drops away, and there's more forgiveness, there's more love, there's more space, more time. So, yeah, let's actually take a couple minutes. This feels like a good time to do that. I'm going to take a couple of minutes just for you to sit and perhaps ask yourself that same question, right? Why would I choose to connect to Source in this meditation or any meditation time, right? So just go ahead and take a couple minutes, and then I'll bring us back in and feel what your answer would be to that. Okay, so take a breath. Yeah, anything that has come up in you as we've played with all of this or looked at all of this. Imagine you can just run any blocks, resistance, irritation down to your feet and then into the earth. Just hand it over for a moment. And yeah. So, what a week we have had in this country and around the world. I've woken up to this song every day this week. Literally, it's like the words I wake up to are pounding in my head when I wake up. And it's the song that I posted in the tribe called Question by Moody Blues, which I'll read to you as we wrap up today. But separation seems to have been a theme this week, with division politically and racially and between communities and those who are protecting the communities, with loved ones who are transitioning. There just has been what feels like a rip in the fabric, that connects people. And it's interesting, coming right after July 4th, and last week we talked about rebellion versus revolution. How rebellion is this armed forces trying to make a case, trying to prove a point, trying to rebel against those in authority, where the revolution is literally an overthrow of an old establishment. And I've been witnessing that this week, and it's tender. I mean, it is tender. It is painful to watch the pain of other people, and also there's a bigger picture, right? It's that connection to source and oneness and love that I absolutely emphatically trust in. And so I had choices of what I could do last night, and what was pulling me was to really explore this idea I've been having about soul filters and how we're all connected. And so I spent a few hours just looking online, listening to podcasts, researching, where did we come from? What are stars and planets and, constellations and moons? Like, where is all of that from, and how does it originate? And what amazed me, because I was a terrible science and history student, what amazed me is, there is this theory about a Big Bang, whether you believe in science or religion or, Adam and Eve and God. I don't know that any of that really matters, because there was one original place, source, breath, that started all consciousness, life, right? Somewhere, somehow, breath was created in order for the first human to breathe, to then have more humans and more humans. So however you believe it started, there was an original place where it began. And as I was researching the science perspective, what was clear is that it all came from star, right? So the Big Bang was hydrogen and helium, and as that pressure it got bigger and bigger, it exploded, and energies collided, and stars and stars and stars got formed, and then planets got formed from the stars. And, it really describes how it all came from one original place. But what I was getting yesterday was, if it all came from one original star, let's just follow that hypothesis, then the history of that one original star is in every single thing that came after it. Every single planet, every single atom, every single human, every single plant, every single stone, building, water molecule, right? And so when I was thinking about that this morning, there are two quotes that I wanted to read to you. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a scientist who just seems really cool because he knows so much I have no idea about. But he had these two things to say that feel relevant. He said, with chemical elements forged over 14 billion years ago in the fires of high-mass stars that exploded into space, and with these elements enriching subsequent generations of stars with carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and other basic ingredients of life itself, we are not just figuratively, but literally made of stardust. And then he goes on to connect that to life here on Earth, right, humans. And he says, there are more molecules of water in a cup of water than cups of water in all the world's oceans. This means that some molecules in every cup of water that you drink have passed through the kidneys of every historical person you want to look at. The same goes for air. There are more molecules of air in a single breath of air than there are breaths of air in Earth's entire atmosphere. Let me read that again because that's crazy. There are more molecules of air in a single breath of air than there are breaths of air in Earth's entire atmosphere. Therefore, some molecules of air that you inhale have passed through the lungs of Billy the Kid, Joan of Arc, Beethoven, Socrates, or any other historical person of your choosing. That blows my mind because it proves, it confirms to me that we are absolutely all one, that every person is connected to the other person. So, following that hypothesis, right, if that is true, if we're actually all connected and we all carry the same history and the same stardust from the original stars or the original breath, the original source, then why the separation, right? Why such division in the news and families, right? Why the pain? And what I was seeing last night when I was researching about stars is, if we started with one original star, why wasn't that one enough? Why did we need to have more? Right? But as you create more, you light up the universe, you fill the universe. And with more gets created. So I translated that to consciousness, right? If consciousness was a certain size, and then it collided and more consciousness was created, and more individuals created more consciousness, then the universe can expand. It can become more than it was before. Right? So we translate that to love. So if love was a certain size, and then more individuals felt love and collided with other individuals who were love, then more gets created. And so love expands. So my unprofessional, unphilosophical, unreligiously educated opinion, but my knowing, my truth, is that I believe souls take human form, come to Earth, so that we can bring our individual gifts here to this planet, so that we can bring our knowing from all the lives we've lived before, or if you don't believe in past lives, you arrive just in this moment, right, in this life, and you feel more love, you create more consciousness, you refine and discover your own knowing, and then that individuality that is you brings this individual knowing into the collective group of the communities that you live in. And you create more that didn't exist before you. So if you bring hate forward, right, you're going to attract hate and more fear and more violence until eventually you're bumping up against other communities that are pushing or advocating for love. And then there becomes this, what looks like conflict, right? Hate versus love, push versus pull. Which one wins? Which one grows? Which one expands? My belief is that love always wins. Always. And you can trace back through humanity, through wars, through horrendous acts of violence, and always find compassion and love in those spaces. Right? The stories of 9/11, for example, that still continue are the ones that are based on love, where someone helped another one. And love came from that space. right? Yeah, anything that's coming up in you as I say all of this, just keep your feet open and just run energy down and out through your feet, right? Especially for those who process for other people, you might be picking up pain from the groups that you have read about or looked at or know in your body exist, and so you're trying to hold on to that pain. You can just move it through and down and out into the earth. You don't have to hold pain for other people. Yeah, so I have just been sitting with all of this and trying to not drown in the sorrow, right, of pain, because I don't believe that serves. I think that brings the vibration down, but also not ignoring it, because I think that that's like putting blinders on, and that doesn't serve either. Right, so it's a line to walk of how much do you drop into the pain and how much do you just hold space for the healing of the pain. And so what I wanted to share is I watched one video in particular. It was the woman in Minnesota whose, I think it was her husband or partner, was shot in the car next to her. And she videotaped it, and then I haven't seen that video, but I watched the one where she was interviewed the next day in front of the governor's mansion or the courthouse, and she was asking for justice. And the video was remarkable. It was amazing to see, because yes, she was in shock. Obviously, she was very much still in the trauma and the adrenaline rush of something that had completely fried her system in the moment. And yet I could see the strength of her soul, right? Like, her soul came to this earth. I firmly believe this, for that moment. The moment of filming it for her partner and witnessing, right, being a witness, but also the moment of standing in front of a camera and speaking her truth, right, telling her story and speaking her truth, which is, it has to be time to change what is going on here. And so she brought her individual voice, her individual expression of herself, of her soul, and expressed that in community. She brought herself to the moment of the now and expanded consciousness into a place that it hadn't gone to before. Why am I sharing all this, right? I can feel some of the questions like, where are you going with this? I feel a sense of urgency, a quickening on our planet, that the individual expression, the individual voices are so needed in order for love to bump up against the edges of hate and judgment and bigotry and injustice, right? Love is bigger. It does win. And yet the holding back of love, the hiding of love, the shrinking of individuality, it's slowing the pace. That's not quite right. It's altering the pace of consciousness, right? It takes us in different directions. And so my call to action, or my plea of all, right, that I'm going to just keep using my voice to express is, feel your knowing, speak your truth, be ready in whatever moment presents itself, whatever now is unfolding in and around you, to be the fullest expression of you, to trust your knowing as your absolute truth and speak it and voice it and express it and be it, right? Because when we do that, that's the point of being here. You bring that stardust from the original star that was ever created, with all of the knowing of history since then. You bring your version of that into the now. And then consciousness expands. And in my belief, love expands. And then more love is going to create more love. It is going to heal the places of wounding. One of the things that the Minnesota woman was saying, and I've never heard it expressed this way, which is why her voice was so powerful, it was so necessary. She said, the police officer who showed up when he saw my husband reaching for his wallet in his pocket, and her husband had said, I carry a firearm, which apparently you're supposed to tell a police officer if you're ever pulled over. He said, I carry a firearm, but as he was reaching for his wallet, I'm assuming that the police officer must have thought he was reaching for the gun. And so the police officer started to shoot. And this woman said, the police officer who stood outside the window with his gun drawn was coming from a place of wounding. He came from a place of his fears that hadn't been released. And his fears are what prompted him to shoot. So he should have been doing his work already to clear his fears. So when he showed up to see what was going on with our car, which she said was about a broken tailgate, that's why they got pulled over, or a light, she said if he had shown up, perhaps his response would have been different if he didn't have all that fear inside of him that hadn't been released. My interpretation of what she said, you'd have to watch the video yourself, but what a beautiful and forgiving perspective she offered, right? And so if we are all clearing our blocks and running resistance down into the earth, right, and partnering with the earth to feel supported, connecting into source and trusting in oneness, in universal connection, we show up into the now, already whole, already healed, able to love. And from there, the consciousness that gets created is a very different one than if we showed up wounded and in fear. And so that's the point of this whole storytelling and sharing, right, is to do our own work. It's the point of this Soulshine community. When I first started, I thought it was going to be all love and light and party, come feel good on a Sunday. And what I feel now is the depth of what Source actually wants it to become, right? A healing portal. So more love gets created and more love gets shared and more people step into the space and do their healing and feel their own knowing and trust it and become individuals that step into a community, a collective that is love-based, love expansive. Yeah, that's what has been swirling in me this week. So it feels really good to share it with all of you. And what I would love is to hold space for you for the next 5 or 6 minutes and allow you to sit with it, hand over the pieces that don't feel like a match, right? This is my truth. It doesn't mean it has to be your truth. But I want to hold space while you sit and feel your knowing, your love, your heart space, your consciousness. And then I'll pull us back in for the last couple of minutes, and I'd like to end with reading the words to the question song. So I'm going to hold space and just explore whatever is coming up for you and trust it more than my knowing. Trust yours more. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back. Whew. All right, let me read you the lyrics to this song. I have it on the tribe posted with the link. If you aren't familiar with it, you can listen to the music there. It's by the Moody Blues, called Question. And it starts off really fast, right? So it feels like the pace of life, like busy, 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 really intense, hard metal sounding. And then it suddenly just shifts into the space of stillness and this beautiful voice and harmony. And then at the end, it shifts back into the chaos and the busyness. And I feel like that is so representative of how we live our lives, what the human journey is like. It is intense. There's a lot coming at us in all different directions. And so you make the choice to create stillness. It's a conscious choice to say, I'm going to sit for 5 minutes and just breathe, or I'm going to, like now, right, drop into this hour-long meditation so I can feel what my soul wants to hear. And so the lyrics, I'll just read them to you, and just go ahead and feel yourself settling into your chair and just allow the words to land wherever they need to. You'll hear the words that most resonate for you, and perhaps they create an opening for your heart. Why do we never get an answer when we're knocking at the door? Because the truth is hard to swallow. That's what the war of love is for. It's not the way that you say it when you do those things to me. It's more the way that you mean it when you tell me what will be. And when you stop and think about it, you won't believe it's true, that all the love that you've been given has all been meant for you. I'm looking for someone to change my life. I'm looking for a miracle in my life. And if you could see what it's done to me, to lose the love that I knew could safely lead me through. Between the silence of the mountains and the crashing of the sea, there lies a land that I once lived in, and she's waiting there for me. But in the gray of the morning, my mind becomes confused between the dead and the sleeping and the road that I must choose. I'm looking for someone to change my life. I'm looking for a miracle in my life. And if you could see what it's done to me, to lose the love that I knew could safely lead me to the land that I once knew, to learn as we grow old the secrets of our souls. So much love from my heart to each of yours today. Thank you for being here.